Hey guys, today I have possibly my biggest leak video of all time for you guys. There's so much stuff. I have the potential Christmas banner. I have dates on some really cool banners. I have so many predictions that I think are very likely to be right. I have new heroes to show you guys. They're not in their entirety, but I have a lot of stuff to show you guys. And I just figured, why the hell not just include basically everything? So, there's a lot to cover. I'm not really going to spend too much time rambling. I'm going to breeze through quite a bit because I have so much to talk about. I'm going to answer questions on a lot of released heroes that we know about that haven't been released to global. I have stuff that you guys have never seen. Stay tuned. It is going to be amazing. I do have to give thanks to Rokanchi, Panther, Erasis, Kardush, and T for all of the help. The Leaker Boys. Big thanks to them. And let's get into it. So we're going to start with the banners that I know the dates of. Guaranteed, almost. I won't say they're 100% guaranteed, but they are 90% guaranteed. Starting with this Xena and Brokkir banner. This is currently the only banner we really know of being like in the files with a date. But we do know some of the other dates almost certainly. This one is going to be on December 6th. So next week, we are going to have Brokkir Xena. I assume we will not be having any ancient banner because Moonton likes to do them every 2 weeks. So keep that in mind. So a week is kind of a long time. I wish there was another game I could entertain myself with. Speaking of.
But before we get to the rest of the video, this video is sponsored by Marvel Strike Force. Marvel Strike Force is a free-to-play hero collection RPG set in the world of Marvel where you can assemble powerful teams of both Marvel villains and heroes alike. I'm personally more of a villain fan myself. There's an endless amount of combinations to how you build your team and so many variations to play with. Right now is an amazing time to start with numerous free character giveaways this November, and this game does not hold back with releasing new amazing heroes, and the best part is they make them easy to get, just like the recently released Blade and his team of Night Stalkers. Now if you want to start developing your roster, use my link in the description or use the QR code on screen to get started. Even personally, I have played Marvel Strike Force a lot and can confidently say it is one of my favorite gachas out there, and there was so much to do. I never ran out of content. While playing the game, there's seemingly endless amount of it to choose from. There's PvP through the many arenas, Alliance War where you get to band together with your alliance against others, tons of campaigns where you get to fight against corrupted versions of the characters you know and love, and this month they are even adding a brand new mode called Battle World. Battle World is a PvE mode where you get to participate with your alliance against unique challenges, missions, and boss fights, and only the strongest shall prevail. Now, if you somehow didn't think that was enough, you can use my download link or QR code and then use the promo code Halloween to instantly get 100 shards for Zombie Iron Man, 600,000 gold, and 480 L2 training modules. Who doesn't love free stuff? Now, if you're looking for a great mobile game with a combination of recognizable characters, strategic gameplay, and no shortage of entertaining content to choose from, Marvel Strike Force is the game for you. Let's get back to the video.
Next, we have the Ingrid Ardea banner. If you saw my video, this is incredibly likely to be on December 14th. Like I said, they tend to do it every 2 weeks, and we got a tip from a couple people, most of which who remained anonymous, that this is very likely, I would say like a 90% chance, to be December 14th. Keep that in mind. Now, let's talk about Wukong. Wukong, this is just like the most educated guess you could ever have. We know when Wukong's gonna be. Wukong, by the way, this thumbnail was made by Corvid, my thumbnail guy. Big thanks to him. He makes amazing thumbnails, so this is just like a cleaned up model. But Wukong is going to be at the end of January. It's going to be at the final like 2 weeks of January, because for in China, where Wukong is based off of Chinese mythology, I'm not really going to go too much into it because I don't know much about it, so I don't want to pretend that I know anything. But essentially, they have a holiday or some sort of celebration called Chunjie. I think I said that right. And that is what I have been informed they will be released at. And Wukong is probably going to be the strongest hero that we know about. Undeniably, in my opinion, I think it is highly, highly, highly unlikely that he is weak. I think he's going to be incredibly strong, especially because it is some type of mythology. They have to make him strong. So it's very unlikely they nerf him before launch. He's going to be probably the strongest, and he is the next new limited hero that we know of. So keep that in mind as well. We also have something called Wukong's Gift right here, which is going to be some sort of event related to him. We don't have many details when it comes to that. Now, Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn is the next actual limited hero we're going to get. I suspect very strongly that she will be at Christmas. We haven't had Gwendolyn for a year. She is the longest hero to not come back. She's the longest limited hero to not come back. I think it is almost 100% certain she's going to be this Christmas, especially because we know that the trend of this game is we're going to get a limited hero every month or two. Guaranteed, whether it's a rerun or not. And since we know that Wukong is like 95% certain to be in January, there's no way they don't put her in for December. She's most likely going to be around Christmas. Is she worth pulling for? Up to you, man. But we haven't had her for a year, so if you guys are collecting and you don't have her, it's going to be pretty exciting for y'all. Now we get to the Christmas banner, or the banner that we are very sure is Christmas. This is where we start to go out of like banner date territory, where it's just like banners that we know when they're coming. We're getting into now the just normal banners that we do not have dates for, except for this one that I'm going to show you, which is a Christmas banner. And this one's going to take me a long time to explain. This is a choose your own hero banner that we think, we're very sure, we're pretty informed guess, is going to be the Christmas banner. Generally, alongside limited heroes like Gwendolyn, they're going to run a 2x by 15x. Possible they are going to do that. That is 100% possible. But this banner actually marks kind of a turning point where we're getting a new hero and a new type of banner. This is not going to be only a pick your banner. This is going to be a hero. This hero on the left is called Mystra, which I will talk about very briefly. We have most of her kit, excluding some skills. And then we have the choose your own hero type thing. As you can see, these are real images. One, we have Shamir here, and then we also have Ingrid. I don't know if this is going to let you pick any hero in the game. If it does, that is insane. Especially considering last Christmas, we just got a Boreas banner. Sure, he was pre-nerf and was the strongest hero in the game. But the fact that you can pick your hero is ridiculous. And it's a new hero. So we got a new mage, Mystra, which I'm going to talk about very briefly. Trust me. And then we have Ingrid. You can pick an Ingrid. Like, that's freaking wild. There's no way. Like, can you pick Pope? Can you pick Valderon? Is it ancient heroes? Are the shards going to be ancient? Are they going to be an event type of currency that you get to summon for? Is it just going to be rare shards? Divines? I don't freaking know. Okay, I'm just sharing what we know. Obviously, leaks are always up to change, up to, you know, things being modified before release. This is freaking wild, okay? This is insane. As you can see, Shamir, Ingrid, leads me to believe you are able to pick any hero in the game, ancient exclusive or otherwise. If so, I'm either picking Ingrid if I don't pull her beforehand, or I am picking Carnelian all the way because I've wanted her for so damn long. This is debatably the best banner if it does end up working that way. Of course, not a guarantee, but is what we think. Now, Mystra, let's talk about her quickly, and then I'm going to talk about one more banner I think is a soft guess, but almost a guarantee. And then we're going to go back to the remaining. I have like 4 characters to talk about. Not even all the characters we have. It's just the other ones are so underdeveloped, I'm not going to cover them. And then some other banners that we know of. So stay tuned for that, of course. Now we have Mystra. So Mystra, this was made by Rokanchi and Aeris. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. I always butcher it, and people flame me in the comments. But either way, it doesn't matter. We have Mystra here. So the talent is the hero's basic attack has a 40% chance to summon a Cosmic Rift nearby. Cosmic Rift, if you go down here, is mimics the same attack on one random enemy in range when the summoner attacks. So she is a summoner. Mimicable actions include basic attack, ultimate, focus fire attack. Mimicked basic attacks and focus fire attacks only deal 100% damage. Very interesting. This could even be she works with other summoners and she mimics that summoner's attack. I'm not 100% sure. She's not fully complete, so we are purely going off of guesses. Now, the hero can maintain up to 2 cosmic rifts at the same time. Basic attack also inflicts magic resistance reduction on enemies. Very cool to have it in the base kit. As you can see her range right here, it is a normal mage range. She is a mage, legendary, infernal blast, esoteric order, mage class. She's very cool looking. She has a single target attack and an ally buff and an offensive dispel. We don't fully know most of the parts of her kit, but those are the descriptions, right? As you can see, we have null here. We got this thing where it's a name, where it says Starfold Strike for the ultimate. It is a manual ult, lasts for 3 seconds, and has a pretty low rage cost, 700 when skilled. We have part of a passive, which is Celestial Confluence. Passive, damage increase, as you can see there. Not the full passive, right? This is still a very early stage thing. As you can see, same hero right there. We do have the Awakening if you want to read it. Using Starfall Strike, which is the ultimate, extends the duration of all Cosmic Rifts, which is this special ability that has a chance to trigger on the basic that mimics actions or something. We'll have to wait until she's released to see that. I can't really give you guys a great guess. If you have guesses, leave them in the comments, of course. Magic resistance reduction also is 30%, which is some of the highest in the game. Now we have extra attack on the A2. As you can see by these stats, she has a pretty high attack stat for a mage, decent HP. Magic resistance, pretty normal, 19 cost. Attack interval is basic as hell. When Celestial Confluence, which is the passive, reaches full stack, so it will have stacks, we don't know what they are though. Damage dealt by Cosmic Rifts mimicked basic attacks increases to 100% of the hero's basic attack damage. It could also be that these Cosmic Rifts are just her summons that copy her attacks. I don't really know. We get penetration on the A4. A5 is Starfall Strike, which is the ultimate, ignores 70% magic resistance, but reduces the hero's rage regen by 15%. Very interesting. It's an A5 that has a bonus and a drawback. Obviously more of a bonus, but that is kind of insane. Now, you can kind of see we have some other banners, including a new hero again, which is ridiculous. But I'm not going to talk about that now because we don't know the date. I'm going to the game to talk about another banner, and that is Nascent Summoning. This one is purely a guess, but in my opinion is a guess that is close to a guarantee. This one, I think, is almost a guarantee to come again around New Year's. If you remember at all, with the Nascent Summoning, we got two very close together. The very first Nascent Summoning ever, by the way, I summoned on this banner. I'm not going to share what it is because I will make a video on it. But the very first Nascent Summoning we had is around the time where we're getting it now. It was a entire calendar year ago, and it was around Christmas time, right? Now we know the Christmas banner and stuff, but I think after the Christmas banner, we're going to get Nascent again. Because if you remember, if you were playing a year ago, if you go back to about a year, of course, I have been playing for a damn long time, 430 days almost. I remember that by New Year's, the banner they added was another Nascent. We got two Nascents back to back, basically, or at least a couple weeks apart. So I think it is highly, highly likely they run another one of these. Will they run something else very cool for New Year's? We don't really know. It could be the Aeris banner, which is the character I'm about to show you, but we don't know yet, right? It's going to be jam-packed. We just got the Nascent. We're going to get that Christmas banner, which is crazy. Ardea, Ingrid, very soon. I don't freaking know what's happening, okay? It's insane. But around New Year time, I think they're going to run another Nascent banner. Now, let's go back to the banners that I have for you guys. We're starting to reach the end, but we still haven't even talked about some of the hero banners or stuff like this that are heroes we know is coming, but we don't actually have dates. I have some guesses, and the Nightmare Lord, I do have a prediction. That is purely guesswork. Now, this is Aeris right here. Aeris and Setram are on a banner. We did get a Seraphine of Setram banner somewhat soon, or somewhat recently, I mean. Sorry about that. But this is Aeris. Aeris is a very interesting looking hero, is kind of, I don't even know what he's trying to be. Very cool banner artwork there. Now, Aeris, we do not have any skills for, just like, what was the other girl? Mystra or whatever. The other girl I showed you guys, whatever, we didn't really have that many skills for. Same thing here. This is Aeris. Like I showed you before with the banner artwork, he looks a little weird. Right here is his in-game model. We have a lot of stuff here, but not a lot of skills. He is a Washguard Esoteria fighter with 3 range, we think. Obviously, leaks are subject to change. Lord Phineas. And then we have a very high HP, 18,000. Defense is pretty basic. 2 block, 20 cost. Attack is 4,200. He is doing magic damage, so 4,200 is a very basic attack. We don't have a lot of magic fighters that do actual damage. Celine, Giselle suck. But anyways, so the max rage is 800. Not sure if it skills down to 700 or not. Basic rage stats there. Anti-air bonus, so he can hit anti-air and probably will do more damage, is what I am reading here. Could be wrong, of course. Aeris, burst damage. Talent is when deployed, immediately triggers Mighty Thrust, which I assume... Oh, well, we have it here. Deals AoE magic damage up to 10 enemies ahead, including airborne units. Very, very, very cool. Subsequently triggers Mighty Thrust every 5 basic attacks, dealing 200% damage. Very cool stuff there. He's doing a lot of AoE damage. That's all the kit we have. The Awakenings, though, which kind of gives us a little bit of insight. Increases basic attack range by 1 on the A1. This may give him the 3-tile range. Maybe he passively has 2. I don't really know. Golden Trammel, which is probably one of his skills we know nothing about. Also inflicts damage reduction on enemies. Very cool there. Golden Trammel. Oh, we have the description here. Panther, put it on the other screen. Jesus. Anyways, Golden Trammel reduces movement speed of enemies in the affected area by 50%. Movement speed decrease is pretty rare on fighters nowadays. This is essentially just a slow. A2 is attack plus 300, gets him about 4,600 if you round it up. A3 is during the ultimate. Mighty Thrust deals 1 extra instance of damage, so it does 2 hits instead of 1. Crazy, crazy stuff there. We don't know anything else about the ult, though, unfortunately. Penetration below that 8%, good A4. A5 is Mighty Thrust, and Destiny's Decree, which is locks onto an enemy closest to the endpoint across the entire battlefield, dealing AoE magic damage to the target and up to 5 enemies around. Kind of similar to something like Lady Alexandra. If you go to Lady Alexandra in the game, what she does is she locks onto enemies across the map, and she does damage to them. So he's going to have something fairly similar. She essentially, I don't know if she marks things or if she, I don't know which part of her kit does it, but here she inflicts this sort of thing on people furthest away, and then she actually targets them, which is kind of interesting. He's going to be able to target people across the map, doing AoE damage. Really, really cool. It's like a Thalin type ability where it's hitting so far away, but it's actually going all the way to them. I wish Panda kind of updated the other screen, but it's fine. Making me look like a fool out here, but I'm trying to do this all in one take, and I hope you guys understand. Now let's talk about the Nightmare Lord. We're getting into now the stuff where we are not sure about anything concrete. This is all purely speculation. It is informed guesses in a couple ways. So I do have better guesses than obviously most of the player base because of the leaker type stuff. But with these banners that I'm going to talk about, with the ones that we've had for a while and we do not know when they are coming, I do have some guesses, okay? Now, the Nightmare Lord. This is the Nightmare Lord that I have just put here. We don't know what it looks like. We have basically no leaks. I guarantee Moonton will keep this under wraps as long as possible so that they get people to spend their ancients, especially with the Ingrid banner. And speaking of the Ingrid banner, I think they are going to do the Nightmare Lord in the next month or 2. I know that's kind of pretty soft take there. I think that is definitely something we can all agree on, that it is on the horizon. I've been saying this for forever, though, and I have been proven wrong that it is taking a bit longer. But the Nightmare Lord is the only faction that does not have 2 Nightmare units. Nightmare Lord will be Ancient exclusive, of course, and we think that it is going to be a Chaos dual faction, just like how Ingrid is an Arbiter dual faction. Could be wrong, but this is what we think, right? We also know it is a fighter due to a dev insight. If you want to get a little more information and a deep dive, go watch my Nightmare Lord video. You could find it on my channel. Okay, but I think that the time we are going to get it is in about 2 months. The way that I usually think about these really groundbreaking heroes is they're going to save it for a time where things are not as hype, or it is a holiday type situation, because when the game is kind of dying down a little bit, like for example, leading up to the anniversary and even after the anniversary, when we're getting those Prexisting banners, those Valorant banners, all of that stuff, the game was kind of falling apart a little bit. They were releasing a little bit of content like Gear Dungeon 2 in there, but there wasn't that much. They were losing players a little bit, and they needed something to spice up the game. I think they're going to either save the Nightmare Lord for then, where they could spring it on us, be like, hey, here's the Nightmare Lord, really good hero, go spend for them. They get people to spend despite the game being in kind of a stagnant point, because realistically, every game is going to go through periods where they do not have updates, because you cannot expect a game company to really be constantly releasing groundbreaking updates, right? I think they might release it then, or some type of holiday, similar to Christmas or New Year's. The only reason why I think it's not Christmas or New Year's is because we have no leaks for it. We have very little information to go off of. Only things we know are official info from basically the developers, like the dev insight. I think they are going to save it for around February, is my guess. Maybe a little sooner. Because if we think about it, we have the next limited hero, which is going to be Sun Wukong. We think it is going to be January. Like I said, much earlier. Very, very, very likely stuff there, right? So January is kind of checked out. We have that amazing Christmas banner I just talked about. I think they're going to save it for a little bit of downtime there. Maybe closer to like Valentine's. Or if they're going for a holiday route, they could always try to slot it around New Year's. Maybe they'll add all the files at once so that we know that it is coming through leaks, like out of nowhere, and we're going to get blindsided, just like how we got blindsided by Kagiri, if anyone remembers that. It could happen. I know I'm not saying too much, but all I am saying is I think it is coming in the next month or two. I don't think it's going to be in Christmas time. I don't know if it's going to be early January. I think it's either going to be late January or sometime in February, maybe even March. I don't think it's coming that soon, but it is still on the horizon, if that makes sense. Pretty basic take there. Who the hell... I mean, it's probably very unsatisfying take there, but we're getting to the point where it is purely speculation. Now, let's talk about Bubba. Bubba is a top 3 most anticipated character that we know of. Of course, if we include the Nightmare Lord, Bubba's like top 4. I would say Wukong is the most important. We know when Wukong's coming. I don't know when Bubba's coming. Something also to note is, sorry, I'm kind of going off a tangent, trying to one-take Jake this. Anyways, Bubba will not be on this banner. This banner was replaced Bubba with Xeris. If you guys remember, this was a 2x by 15x. They're going to put Bubba on a different banner. We do not know that banner, which leads me to believe that Bubba will not be anytime soon. They know that they have a gold mine on this thing. They know that Fastidious is endorsing him, saying he's like the most excited he's been for a hero. They know it's going to get sales, right? You'd have to be dumb to think that it won't get sales. He's not like that broken. I don't think he's the strongest hero coming, but he is very good. So I think they're going to sit on him for a little bit. When they need a 2x by 15x, they'll slap him on a banner, get a bunch of sales. It is possible they run it around Christmas time, which is what I was thinking before we had that quote-unquote Christmas banner that we think is. It could be Christmas. But what I think it's going to be is, I think it's just going to be like the week after Christmas, maybe even a week in January. They're going to drop him, or they're going to drop another hero we're waiting on, which I'll talk about soon. All I am saying is they know that they have a gold mine with Bubba. So wait and look for a weekend where they either want something hype near a holiday, similar to the Nightmare Lord, or a week where there is some downtime where they're going to just launch him out into the stratosphere and get a bunch of payment and a bunch of people spending on summons. They will probably bait out things, just like how they're baiting out summons for the Nightmare Lord, I think, a little bit. They're probably going to do with Bubba as well, so keep that in mind. I know I'm not saying too much here, but like I said, this is all speculation. Tallulah Arrogance, I think is no way it's coming soon, or it's just going to be a banner that's thrown in randomly. Tallulah might not even be with Arrogance. Tallulah kind of sucks. Her healing output's shit. I don't even think she's that good, unfortunately. Same with Numera, who I'm about to talk about. I think it's very likely they just slot her in like on a random weekend where they're just like, oh, we need a banner to use. We've already used so many banners recently because they put like 15 X's every week. They're just gonna slap her in randomly. It's likely she's coming eventually. What me, Rokanshi, and Panther kind of think, and we're talking about, well, me and Panther were talking about it, is we think that they're gonna release like a new hero or two, like every patch. There's usually a patch every month, and then they're going to just kind of release one old hero as well that month. So it is possible Tallulah will just be in a random patch. So I don't really know. This one I'm kind of unsure about, but they're just gonna freaking slap it in randomly. Same with Numera Valeria. Numera is ass. Don't pull for her. They're gonna slaughter in randomly as well. Now let's get into some of the heroes. Like I said, a little bit boring portion there, I know, but I'm giving you guys as much information I have. I hope you guys understand. Now we get to this kind of tank guy. Panther named him Angry Tank. Let me quickly make this a little bit correctly proportioned. Sorry about that. Hopefully that wasn't the way for some other things. Anyways, this is a epic tank. There are other heroes as well, but I'm only going to talk about the ones that I find interesting. We have right here the North Throne epic Angry Tank. Lots of HP, 22,000, not bad for an epic. Some decent defense. Pretty acceptable rage here, and 3 block, obviously, since it is a tank. This is what Panther has as a placeholder image of what it looks like. Clearly not going to be the case, but you know how Panther is. He's funny. Some tags are defense, damage sharing, and invincibility. Pretty interesting for an epic. Talent is reduces damage taken by nearby allies by a certain amount. This is passive all the time. Going to reduce all damage taken by allies. Pretty interesting there. And finally, we're getting a damage scales off of defense. This took freaking forever. I don't know if we have any damage scales off of defense units. Maybe Azor, I think, I want to say. But during the ultimate, nearby allies' damage taken is reduced by an extra certain amount as well. He's passive damage reducing adjacent allies, and he's damage scales off of defense. We need more of these. I've been complaining about this for months, about how we need more HP damage healers, defense damage healers. This is why I wanted to cover this guy specifically. Really, really interesting there. Awakening wise, increases block by a certain amount during the invincibility period after triggering Granite Ward. Like I said before, Panther really needs to start adding these to the other thing, but it's a-okay. Granite Ward is an ability. He will become invincible, that's what we know, and increase block in A1, which everyone's going to get because epics are easy to awaken. A2 is extra defense, interesting there. A3 is when shielded, increases defense by a certain amount. Pretty cool there as well, great for Northerners, which he is. All damage reductions plus 5%, great A4 there. And then A5 is when enemies blocked by this hero deals direct damage to them. A certain amount of the damage is reflected back to the attacker. That's actually decent. This is a good way to get a unit that is a tank to do damage. Instead of just making it like Hars, who is Awakenings freaking increases attack, which is how he does damage. Makes no sense. Anyways, that's a rant for another video. Very cool hero here. Like I said, Angry Tank. Now, let's talk about Spiky. This one is a big deal as well. I'm telling you guys, this is like the biggest leak video ever. I know not everything is concrete, but I really wanted to share a lot of these things with you guys. This is considered spiky. This is what Panther is calling spiky. That is what we're calling him. Now, spiky, let me quickly center this a little bit more. Here we go. This is a 3rd esoteric lord. You know how crazy this is? Like, we haven't even gotten the Nightmare Lord yet, and now we have more information about a 3rd Eso Lord than we do about the Nightmare Lord. What the hell? What is this? What are we seeing here? What are we doing, guys? Esoteria Order 3rd Lord? That's crazy. So they're gonna start releasing 3rd Lords, especially because I think it's a natural progression. Instead of releasing like a new shard, like a primal shard from Raid, which no one will like, they're just releasing more lords, or maybe it will come with a new shard or a new obtaining method. I don't really think it will, but here we have a 3rd Esotericist Lord. If you go over here to the Esotericist Lord, I assume this 3rd one will be Ancient exclusive, but I don't really know. Cyrus, Ancient exclusive tank, really interesting, and then Venoma is debatably the worst Lord in the game. I think she's a little underrated because people really shit on her really bad, but she is terrible. This is like an actual mage, probably like an actually good one. Here we have some HP, we have some magic resistance, pretty interesting stats there. The attack is over 5,000. This is like the third highest attack for a mage in the game. Maybe second. Ingrid has like 6,000. Kratos has around 4,000 or so. Max rage is 300. That is one of the lowest rage costs in the game. Pretty interesting. It is once again only esotericist, normal mage range, magic damage, sustained damage, true damage, and damage escalating. True damage on an Eso Lord is weird. On an esotericist unit, true damage is usually reserved for stuff like arbiters. Really interesting that they have this. Now the Lord skill faction is the basic stuff. It's going to be 15% members' basic attributes, reduces faction team member skill costs by a certain amount. We do not have the third line. If you didn't know on Legendary Lords, let's go over to Watcher of Realms quickly. If you look, Cyrus has damage of other faction team members by a certain amount every time an ally is defeated or retreats. And then Venoma increases allies' rage by 30% upon their first deployment. Every single Legendary Lord has one of those, and it's different per Legendary Lord. They're unique to every Lord. We don't know what that is yet. But it is very, very good to know. We don't have the Awakenings. This is still super early, but I had to talk about it because it's super interesting. Second we get any more information, I'm making a damn video, even if it's wrong, because I'm very excited. Now, we have a Void Rift mount for Christmas as well. There's a lot of other Christmas stuff. I'm not really going to talk about a lot of it. I want it to be a surprise, because realistically, it makes no difference. It's just going to be like fun events. We have Prancer here, Void Rift mount, obtained during Frostfall Festival. What happens is when you explore the Void Rift, there is a chance to get a Prancer's Christmas gift, and when you open it, it obtains various items. If you didn't know, on the current Void Rift mount, you get like extra Gleaming Meteorites. Prancer's gift will have a chance to give you more, so it is technically better to use, I think, but I'm not too sure. And then let's talk about Dame. So I want to make a video on Dame. This is one of the most complete heroes we have. The reason why I'm talking about Dame right now instead of just making my own video, which we've had this character for a while, is because they just added the portrait type thing. This is what it looks like. I'll put it on the screen if I remember. This is a 30-minute long video, so I'm going to have to edit so much. But I'm going to put it on the screen what Dame used to be, what we thought it was. It wasn't like guaranteed, but that's what we thought. But recently they added this under the name Dame, which is interesting. It is a Watchguard fighter, 2-tile range, thank God, not 1-tile range. Has almost 20,000 HP, decent defense, normal physical damage, or this is normal damage, not physical, sorry. Or, no, it's physical damage, not piercing, that's what I meant to say. Very low rage cost, very exciting there. 20 cost, almost 5,000 attack. And then we also have burst damage as the tag. You can kind of read the kit. I am going to make a video on it, so I'm not going to read this to you guys right now. The main things are they knock back. The auto is very quick and deals a lot of damage. 2 times knocks back. We have a chance to trigger a special attack that does extra damage to 2 targets in range. 2 targets is really interesting. Very, very specific. And deals more damage to targets not blocked by this hero. Very interesting. The auto ultimate right here, if we go to the passive, each target knocked back increases the damage, stacks up a certain amount of time, and then targets knocked back are inflicted with a mark. For every tile moved, they take an instant of damage more. You could read all of these. We have the artifact, more AoE damage, which it will be doing AoE damage, as you can see over here by the basic. AoE damage to up to 5 enemies. And then the number of knockback targets from the talent increases by 2. Very interesting there. A1 is more ultimate damage, increases knockback strength. Amazing for Gear Dungeon 2. You're going to be able to do amazing damage and knockback, and maybe even would replace Volca, which is crazy. A3, talent, there you can read it. And then A5 is when an enemy dies. Talent is triggered immediately. Really, really cool stuff there. She's going to be very cool. Okay? Now this is all I have for you guys today. 32 minutes of just non-stop rapid fire leaks. We got so much there. I could have like merged this into like 20 videos, but I wanted to do a treat for you guys. Consider this like a 1-year YouTube anniversary kind of gift. Because if you didn't know, tomorrow is my 1-year YouTube anniversary. I am going to go live, talk about it a bit. I am a little sick, so it's going to be a bit off. But if you do go to my YouTube channel, if we go over here, and you sort by joined, November 29th. Tomorrow. I think I'm gonna do a giveaway or something. I'm gonna probably do like a tribute video going over my journey and stuff because I think it's just kind of fun to do. That's for tomorrow. I will be doing that. Make sure to check in, stop by, or whatever. I wanted to kind of give this as a gift to you guys because I appreciate y'all for everything you guys have done for me. I do appreciate you all, of course. Thank you so much. I do appreciate y'all. I know that there were a lot of unanswered questions, and I didn't do my best job at answering some of them, but there were a lot of things to cover, and I just did my best. Hope you guys can understand. What are you most excited for? What caught you off guard the most in this video? So much stuff. Third SO Lord, which is freaking weird. So many new heroes that are really interesting. Like, there's so much that happened in this video. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you would like. And that's it from me. Destined signing out.